Fly, Butterfly is a life-changing story about Maya Williams, who travels to Hawaii for work but ends up staying there on a self-discovery journey. In Hawaii, she transforms from an uncaring corporate person chasing a promotion into a warm, loving woman who wants more out of life. Within a short span of time, she gains lifelong friends and learns important lessons that would reshape her whole belief system and life. She discovers the value of slowing down and appreciating small moments. She also learns to take chances and to love again for the first time in a long time. Her time in Hawaii will come to an end with a giant leap back into the corporate world, but with big, impact changes. Shaped by what she has learned on the island, her work life and company will be greatly transformed by those lessons. Maya is the kind of girl who's always busy. There's constantly something she needs to attend to, be it targets to reach, emails to respond to, meetings to attend, issues to resolve, people to convince or presentations to prepare for. Having clawed her way to the top of the top cybersecurity firm, she is a driven woman. Maya's ambitions: someone who spends most of her time at work, arriving early in the day and leaving late at night. She's of the firm belief that if you want to get somewhere in life, you need to work as hard as possible to get there. In her case, the only place she wants to go is up the corporate ladder at work. Maya feels a constant need to prove herself, being the first woman in her company to ever get a VP position since it was established 20 years ago. The only thing left for her to pursue is a promotion so that she may have the corner office of her dreams and far more benefits. As a woman in a work environment typically dominated by men, she uses her gender and looks to her advantage through clothing, makeup, and acting. Though the men often make cheeky remarks and act as though they're superior just because they're men, Maya makes being a woman work in her favor by always closing deals. At the start of every month, there's an important meeting at Technogard. It's when all the relevant executives of the company, including Maya's boss, came together to discuss how things were going. It's when Maya gets half an hour to prove her worth through a presentation, which entails her achievements and performance in her role at work thus far. It was at this meeting that Maya announced that she recently discovered that there's a bug in the company's cybersecurity system that nobody has been able to resolve yet. As they're about to gain some rather distinguished clients, she felt it necessary to get the issue sorted out before signing them on. It turns out that her boss hadn't been informed and thus lost his temper in a way she had never seen before. Maya also knew that the chief technology officer had fired the only person who could work on the bug. It was incompetent things like these that made her wonder how most of the executives got their jobs, as it seemed like they were clueless most of the time. Sometimes she was glad she wasn't like them, but other times, she felt her presence would change things for the better. Every single time that any of her friends invited her out, Maya always had an excuse as to why she can't join. There's a limited amount of time in a day and all of hers are dedicated to her career. They all stopped asking eventually, all except for Lisa. Lisa grew up with Maya and was practically a sister to her. Similar to Maya, Lisa used to be career-focused and keen on climbing the corporate ladder herself. However, she gave it all up to teach yoga instead. She felt it was more meaningful, being able to help people spiritually. Ever since then, Lisa has been trying to get Maya to slow down, to take a breather, and to stop giving herself only to work, to no avail. It was also Lisa who made Maya see a holistic body therapist as she was experiencing body pains. It was there with the therapist that Maya got diagnosed with shallow breathing syndrome. The therapist had told Maya that her body pains were most likely the result of insufficient oxygen. Maya was overworking herself to the extent of desperately needing to take a break, but there was no way she would ever let herself do nothing even for a second. She could barely sit still or spend a second not thinking about what's next. Much of this desperation to prove herself and be the best comes from her father's ideals, and working in a man's world where she is constantly proving that she can be as effective as men is an executive position when the rest of the women in the company are secretaries. But Maya is in physical pain, emotionally numb, and has no partner in life to share her load. This all begins to take a toll on Maya, but she doesn't realize it. Maya wasn't always an ambitious corporate woman. She used to be a dreamy child who loved the movies, art, and anything whimsical, as influenced by her lovely mother. Her mother painted, told her magical bedtime stories, and sneaked her out for movie sessions without telling her father. Her father believed in facts, seriousness, and hard work. He didn't approve of the way Maya's mom wanted to raise her. Growing up, she wanted to be just like her mother. As a grown-up, she would become just like her father. When Maya was a child, she caught a butterfly and went to show it off to her mother. To her surprise, her mother was unhappy and rushed to release it. It was from her mother that Maya learned about a butterfly cycle and lifespan, and it was from her mother that she learned how precious life is. She might have grown up to be like her mother had her mother not passed away from cancer when she was 11 years old. Life would never be the same for Maya again, though she would always keep pieces of her mother with her deep within. After bringing the issue of a bug within the company's system to light, Maya's boss told her to come into the office early in the morning the following day. She was certain that she was about to lose her job for dropping this bomb to the whole group of executives without warning. However, her boss wanted to send her off to Hawaii for an investors' conference as his representative while he stayed back to work on the issue. He stressed that it was of utmost importance that no one else found out about the bug's existence, so she must lie where necessary. If she performed well at this conference, her boss promised her a promotion to executive VP along with the office and benefits of her dreams. It was everything that she has been working so hard for all these years. As she went through the presentation her boss gave her, she realized that it was filled with lies. It was the same presentation she had prepared for the meeting earlier but enhanced greatly. It boasted that the company had no issues at all when there was a bug. Maya knew that it was typical for the executives at work to exaggerate and lie, but she wasn't sure if she could. She had to talk herself into believing that it was simply the cost of getting ahead at work. After spending all night prepping for the investors' conference, Maya was ready to win everyone over and get the promotion of her dreams. The room was filled with important people who could determine the future success of Technogard, but Maya wasn't nervous. She started her presentation and delivered convincing lies about the company that she knew would win them over. It was only halfway through when she was taking a break that she noticed Betsy in the crowd, along with many other older individuals. It was then that she realized why Betsy got her free ticket. Many companies invited older people to these conferences under pretenses. It would seem like a good deal, getting everything for free. In exchange, they would have to attend these conferences and potentially invest all their money into uncertain companies by buying shares. There was no guarantee that they would get anything back. When Maya was young and her mom would bring her to the cinema, they always watched and then rewatched South Pacific. It was their favorite movie. They often talked about the movie and how they would both visit Bali Ha'i together in the future. Maya was on the plane en route to Hawaii for the conference when she fell asleep and dreamed about those good old days with her mother. When she woke up panicking, her seatmate Betsy calmed her down and they started talking. Betsy was an older woman who loved Hawaii. She has only visited once with her husband, for it was too costly to ever return, but this time around, a company invited them and paid for their tickets. Maya realized that South Pacific was playing on the screen and started crying. Betsy shared that the movie makes her emotional too, and asked if Maya was on her way to visit Bali Ha'i. Maya was confused because she never knew that Bali Ha'i was a place in Hawaii. She thought it was such a bizarre coincidence, but was excited that she could see the place in real life if she wanted to. It would be right there waiting for her. However, Maya brushed it off and told herself she needed to focus on the conference instead. Maya didn't mind selling lies to people who knew what they were getting into, professionals who could afford to lose their money. She couldn't let herself do that to innocent, hardworking people who would be spending their life savings. She had an internal debate about what to do and began to feel embarrassed about who she has become. Knowing that it was a big mistake, Maya went on to share that the company tried their best every day, but that there's a bug in their product that the company's still working on resolving. Wanting to help the elderly and telling the truth at the investors' conference was how Maya got fired from her job. Maya walked straight from the conference to the beach, plopped down on the sand, and let emptiness fill her. She had no idea what to do with herself now that she has ruined her entire career, everything that she has been working for her whole life. It was there at the beach that she met Josh the surfer, who had a tattoo of a butterfly. Maya told him all about what she has just done and they started talking about everything. Josh believes that she made the right move and that she should focus on what she can do now instead of worrying too much about what she has done or what will happen in the future. They had a meaningful conversation about fear, about how people allow their fears to stop them from doing what they want. He encouraged Maya to take her time to figure out what she wants in life. Maya finally decided to take everyone's advice to learn how to relax and take a breather. So instead of buying a ticket home, she chose to stay in Hawaii. She no longer had a job or anything pressing to attend to anyway. She spontaneously rented space by the beach. At first, the open schedule and freedom were strange to her, but in just a short while, she grew to love it. It was refreshing to be able to live slowly and intentionally, to take the time to do whatever she wanted. She enjoyed eating sweet fruits, brewing coffee, reading, sleeping, not caring, and spending time at the beach. She even became close friends with her neighbor, a sweet old man named George. With her focus and heart set on work, Maya hasn't dated any men or been in love for several years now. This all changed when she met George's son, William. He was unlike any man Maya has ever met, and they developed a special connection that went beyond words. He never tried to pick her up or made a move. He was happy to be her friend, to listen and to just spend time together. He even brought her on a helicopter so she could see Bali Ha'i from above. Maya and William were in love with each other, but neither wanted to say anything. Just when Maya summoned up the courage to express her love, William introduced her to Rebecca. Maya was devastated because she thought that the beautiful Rebecca was William's girlfriend. Rebecca was William's business partner. This misunderstanding would cause them to drift apart over the next few years. It came as a shock for Maya that the chairman of Technogard had come to Hawaii to see her. She was more shocked still that he came to offer her the position of CEO at Technogard. He told Maya that the company had let her boss go and would like to replace him with someone who they knew, to be honest, someone who knew what she was doing. Maya couldn't decide, for she now knew there was a better way to live than to simply sell your soul for work. The office, the climb up the corporate ladder, the endless hours and insincere people seemed like such a negative drab now that she has experienced life in Hawaii. George encouraged her to pursue what she feels would be right for her, even if it's hard. In the end, she decided she would accept the job if the chairman could meet her terms. Her conditions were for Technogard to give the elderly people at the conference the choice to purchase 10,000 shares for $1, for her to never lie for the company again, and to have total freedom over how to run the company for the next 3 years. When the terms were accepted, Maya left Hawaii for New York without saying goodbye to William. She was still upset with him over Rebecca and with herself for thinking that she had a chance at love. After the relaxing culture of Hawaii, Maya felt out of place in New York. She got everything that she has always wanted, but none of it felt important. None of it mattered. As a person, Maya has changed. She had different values and ideas now, and she wanted that to be reflected at work. She would introduce everything she had learned in Hawaii into her workplace. As CEO, she would make Technogard a wonderful place to work at. She had the walls at work torn down so everyone would work together more, rather than on their own. There were more colors, space for relaxation, and a coffee station. There were fewer restrictions on holidays and more flexibility in work hours. She introduced parental leave and the ability to work at home as long as people delivered. She talked to the employees to learn about their responsibilities and obstacles. She welcomed feedback, input, and discussions. She was open and not restrictive as a boss. She laughed, dressed differently, and introduced a huge change into the work culture. She was a great leader, but some of the other executives didn't like her. They felt she wasn't fit to be CEO. They complained to the board of directors and a meeting took place. Maya defended herself well, bringing up the positive results based on the changes she had made. The board supported her but advised her to take it easy on those who are not used to the way she worked. People needed time to adjust slowly, not go from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye. After the meeting with the board of directors and executives, Maya knew that she had been far too wishful in thinking that everything would just fall into place without issues. She knew she had a lot of work to do with her executives. They were used to the old way of doing things, the one in which men ran everything, and there was a great divide between bosses and employees. They didn't like the sudden and immediate change to the way things used to be. Instead of being mad and vindictive, Maya decided that the executives should all go for a retreat to the beach together. She had explained herself and her ways in the meeting, but she needed her executive team to get on board with her. She couldn't run Technogard on her own. In an informal setting, they were able to share their issues and worries effectively. The executives told her why they were unhappy with the changes she made. They had a healthy discussion about how to do things moving forward, and Maya promised to keep them involved in her processes rather than making decisions about everything on her own. They all had to wipe their slates clean and start anew with each other, letting bygones be bygones. From then on, things began running more smoothly at work. The company's revenue improved significantly and it became one of the top companies where people wanted to work. Forbes magazine even named Maya as Businesswoman of the Year. All in all, Maya became the type of leader she always wanted to be. When her 3-year contract as CEO with Technogard was up, the chairman offered Maya an extension and a raise. She had exceeded everyone's expectations with what she has been able to do during those 3 years. Maya was pleased with the offer. She was happy with her job, her colleagues, and her life for the most part, but it still felt like something was missing. She realized that it was time for her to return to Hawaii. On the journey there, she learned that George had cancer and didn't have much time left. When she arrived in Hawaii, she knew that she would stay with George until he took his last breath. Maya was there when George passed away. She stayed in Hawaii even after. She was scared but knew that she had to finally tell William how she felt. At the airport, she had met Rebecca and learned that she was never William's girlfriend. Maya felt foolish about the misunderstanding she created based on assumptions. However, William needed time because he was heartbroken. For the past 3 years, he had tried to meet up with Maya and express his feelings, but she had turned him down every time. That year, the 3 of them spent Christmas together and George was happy to have Maya around. He had always thought that Maya and William were perfect for each other. He felt that he had lived as long as he did because he needed to meet Maya before he left this world. She became a board member at Technogard, but her heart was in the new retreat venture she started with a friend out in Hawaii. Her best friend, Lisa, moved to Hawaii to teach yoga and to help Maya out with her new venture too. It took a long time and a lot of growth, but Maya finally figured out what she wanted to do with the rest of her life. Most of all, she got her happily ever after with William and they adopted a boy together.